photograph of an African-American boy hugging a white police officer in 2014. The fired Veterans Affairs Secretary says he was undone by those who want to privatize veterans' health care. David Shulkin was ousted Wednesday by President Donald Trump. Shulkin writes in a New York Times opinion piece that advocates of privatization saw him as an obstacle who had to be removed. Trump has chosen White House Dr. Ronnie Jackson to replace Shulkin after an ethics scandal and mounting rebellion within the agency. Residents of Manbij, a northwest Syrian town held by Kurdish-led forces backed by American troops, say they are unnerved by threats by Turkey to attack the town. But they expressed faith they won't be abandoned by the Americans, who worked alongside Kurdish.
All right, let's try it again. See if we can actually go without locking up this time.
Sun City, it's 54 degrees Fahrenheit.
What do you think?
Clear skies and sun.
Can we do it?
Today's
I
forecast
think we
calls for
can.
more of the same, with a high of 82 degrees and a low of 50 degrees.
There we go.
That's all from your flash briefing.
Well, good. That's all I need from my flash briefing. I think I'm ready to hit me up with some weights. Let's get the first round in the book before people start hitting me up with questions. 6, 7, 15, 16, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Nice. Set number 1 in the books. Good. Juice. Alexa, connect to my music.
Playing your music.
Charleston. Alexa, next. Lennon and McCartney, best songwriting duo ever. Why am I recognizing this one? Is it Ray Charles? Sounds like Lucille. I'm gonna love you. Alexa, like who is this? I recognized Lucille the minute I heard that guitar. Who's joined us? Hey Frodo, what's going on? Wilhelm Krieger. Guten Tag, Wilhelm. Wie geht's? Sehr gut. I used to speak fluent German. I was stationed there. Well, my dad was stationed there in the army. So, yeah, way back in the day. Hey, let's get a picture, you guys. At least on here, anyway. I zoomed in. Ready? Cover your eyes. Built-in flash. Isn't that cool? What I loved about this, remember this is old school, back before digital. You know, this camera was made in 1990. I bought it in 91. Anyhow, cool old toy. Hope you guys are doing well. Ask any questions you want. I'm getting my morning workout done. I do weight training Thursdays, Saturdays, Mondays. I give myself 48 to 72 hours between workout sessions. You have to have the recovery time. I mean, the entire objective for doing resistance weight training is overload. You know, you want to overload the muscles, and you have to give them time because you're tearing down the muscle fiber and rebuilding it. That's the goal. Good stuff. I'm up to my kettlebell. I do my routine in order every time. That way I don't miss anything and I don't forget anything. This is my latest addition. It's a 35-pound kettlebell. Awesome. You can do so much with kettlebells. And I don't know if you guys are familiar, but I used to be obese. My BMI used to be 38, 39, almost morbidly obese. In fact, at one time I had 3 of these attached to me, plus 10 pounds. So I'm 115 pounds lighter than I was at my heaviest. So I still can't believe, I mean, a 35-pound kettlebell's got a good amount of weight, right? I can't believe I had 3 of these. I carried it all in my stomach. Look on my discussion, my wall, there's a picture of me with my driver's license picture from about 15, 16, 17 years ago. when I was 252 pounds and still smoking cigarettes. Didn't do myself any favors. Anyhow, if you have any questions, hit me up, you guys. Alexa, next. Alexa, next. Oh, Cheers theme. Alexa, louder. Takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your work sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? On those nights when you got no light, check is in the mail, and your little angel on the cat by its tail. The last 5 really kicked your butt. This was me. That was me at 205 pounds, which was 67 pounds ago. And like I say on my wall, my driver's license picture from back in the day. I got it around here somewhere. I don't know where I put it. I like to scare people by showing them that one. Ah, yes. There it is. Yep. Knew I had it around here somewhere. That was me, 252 pounds. Still smoking cigarettes. Back then, anyway. Still can't believe I did that for 31 years. From 15 to 46. About a pack a day. Mostly Camels. The smooth Turkish tobacco. Mm-hmm. Coming up next, tricep curls. I highly recommend, I'm sure you guys probably don't do a lot of resistance training, very few people do. But if and when you do get around to doing some weight training, especially if you're trying to lose some pounds, I highly recommend it. Doing a little bit of weight training, not a lot, 2 times a week. 3 I do, that's just personal preference, but at least twice is recommended. Stretch as you're doing the routine. Stretch as you do each one of your exercises. Static stretching and dynamic stretching both. Dynamic stretching is simply moving and not stopping like this. Eagles. One of the best albums all. So dynamic stretching simply means that you're continually moving. You don't stop. You don't hold any positions. You're just moving. That's a dynamic stretch, dynamic movement, if you will. As opposed to static stretching, where you go to your fullest range of motion and then you hold it. Normally, they recommend 10 to 20 seconds. I've learned 30 seconds is a good minimum amount of time to hold a stretch. And remember, you never hold the stretch to the point where it hurts. Only to the point where you feel. There, that's a comfortable place for me to go. Right there. Your latissimus dorsi, your lats, will give you a good indication, as well as your shoulder. For a guy with bursitis in his shoulders, both of them, I have to keep my shoulders very limber and very warm at all times. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You shake that out. And remember, always balance. If you stretch one muscle group, one area, you got to go the other way. And again, holding a stretch for at least 30 seconds is what's effective. The Golgi tendon organ, the GTO, will not release unless the auto inhibition is allowed to go into effect. That normally takes about 30 seconds. If you don't have an internal chronometer like I do, 25. Then you can simply count out loud. 1001, 1002, etc. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and release. Shake it out. Nice. All right. You guys don't have any questions? Doesn't have to be on personal training, health coaching. I don't care. Ask me questions about anything. In fact, do a little research. If you go on Amazon, go look at my book, Pushing Double Nickels, on Amazon. Look at the table of contents. Table of contents. I literally have 80 chapters in this book, covering everything. I mean, literally everything. I put everything but the kitchen sink into this one. Hey, Wolf, how's it going? BBW. Getting my weights done this morning. Cool. Hey, it's Thursday, March 29th. My eyes opened up. As far as I'm concerned, when my eyes open up in the morning, first thing, everything after that's gravy, you guys. Seriously. If I would have stayed... Alexa, stop. If I would have stayed heavy, if I would have stayed 115 pounds heavier than I am now and kept smoking the cigarettes and ignored, my doctor when he told me I had diabetes, type 2 diabetes, if I just, crossed my fingers and hoped for the best and not done anything about it, I probably wouldn't be here right now. I would have probably had a heart attack by now. Something would have got me. Seriously, something would have got me by now. Hey, I'm going to be 59 in about 3 weeks. Yeah, 5'9". 59, right? At 46 years old, I was not just fat, I was very fat, obese. Like I said, look on my wall. You'll see my picture 115 pounds ago. What is BB Dub? Oh, hey, Ned, what's going on? Yeah, not yet. Hey, April 20th is still not here yet. I don't take anything for granted until I actually get there. So, on 420, I'll probably pop on for a few minutes and say howdy. So you can wish me a happy 59th at that time. What's really cool and what I like about this birthday, I'm turning 59 and I was born in 1959. So how often do you get to turn the same age as the year you were born? For my son, he's got to wait till 2090. Yeah, because my eldest was born in 1990, so he'll be 28 here this May, but he's got to wait till 2090, when he turns 90, right, before he can actually do that. So lucky me, being born in 1959, right? I get to turn 59, so it's just kind of a funny thing. I think it's interesting, anyhow. So I'm doing my weights. If you guys have any questions, hit me up. I'm up to tricep curls. Last night I was watching another episode of My 600-Pound Life. Don't start me. I could have probably easily gotten there myself. I was 252 at my heaviest. And for me, that's really bad. Let me get these 50 knocked out. If you guys have any questions on anything, like, how'd you quit smoking? How'd you lose the weight? How'd you get your diabetes under control? What do you do about your back pain? And I got to get this thing moving because my shoulders are not going to let me hold it here forever. I do 50 of these tricep curls, if you will, and I move this laterally back and forth One thing you need to always be careful of is don't hit yourself in the back of the head with this thing. 15, 16, 17, 21, 2, 23, 24, 26, 27, 20, 29, 30, 32, 30, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 40, 42, 43, 4, 45, 46, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52. Nice. Tricep curls done. Who's joined us? Who's joined us? Hey, Penny, how's it going? Well, Penny, I'm glad you think it's funny. I'd be real curious to know what your BMI, dear, is. Do you know what your body mass index is? Are you in shape? Are you overweight? How are your blood sugars? Hey, you popped on a personal trainer's page. So, yeah, I'm going to hit you up with those questions, dear. Because who knows, you might look the way I used to look. That's how I used to look, dear. My BMI was 38, almost 39. I wasn't just fat, I was very fat. I was obese, close to morbidly obese. My BMI used to be 38, 39. Kid. So, yeah, I'm glad you find it amusing. I'm still curious to know what your body mass index is. Do you even know? Do you have any idea? Do you exercise at all? Even a little? So, I think you can put the smile away, unless you can get up here at almost 59 years old and tell me you're in better shape than me. Otherwise, toodaloo. Ta-ta. Who else has joined us this morning? Hey, Tosh. Penny thinks exercise is funny. Anyhow, you guys hit me up with questions. Oh, you say something there, Tosh? Well, capture me, capture me. Fan me up, you guys. If you have issues that you have to deal with, you need to lose weight. If you've got pre-diabetes, your blood sugars are out of line. You suffer lower back pain. 100 million Americans suffer lower back pain. If you have high cholesterol levels, if any of the numbers that you talk to about with your doctor aren't where they need to be, talk to me. Ask me a question. I'm a certified personal trainer. I'm a certified health coach, both ACE certified. So hit me up. That's what I'm here for. My goal this year is to help all the fat people, and there's 200 million of you out there, just like I was, get unfat. To help the 84 million of you out there right now who have pre-diabetes, means you're just getting ready to get it, like me. So if you are pre-diabetic, and that's more than 1 out of 4 Americans, and if you don't know, shame on you. Get in and get your lab work done. Get your annual physical done. Talk to your primary care physician about the numbers that are going to determine how long you're going to be on this planet. If you don't really care, then fine. You just sit there and stuff your face with whatever you want to eat as long as you want to do it. You'll have a heart attack before you're 50. I see people dropping dead in their 20s and 30s right now. We have an obesity epidemic happening in this country right now. 1 out of 3 people are overweight. Another 1 out of 3 people are obese. Only 1 out of 3 Americans are in the proper body mass index. 1 out of 3. I'd be curious, who on here knows their BMI? You want to live to 100 without wearing diapers, without drooling on yourselves, without having a heart attack before you're 50 or 60 years old or younger? What's your body mass index? If you aren't brave enough to put it up on here, if you don't know, go Google it right now, right this minute. Just look at body mass index calculator, BMI chart. Penny, go do it right now. You want to be around to have kids and grandkids? I don't know if maybe you're already a mother. You want to be around long enough to see your kids grow up and get married? Or if you want to have kids at all. Believe me, when you're obese, the odds of you having children go down very, very much. So, like I say, you popped on a personal trainer's page there, Penny. Right? So I'm glad you think it's amusing, but I'd be more amused if you could tell me what your body mass index number is. Huh? Or how about your weight? Just tell me your height and your weight, and I'll tell you right now. I'll look it up on the chart right here for you and tell you exactly what your body mass index is. But until then, all right, I don't think there's any room to criticize there, kid. In fact, I'm pretty darn sure there's no room to criticize. Anyhow, how about doing some weights? You guys have any weights? Doesn't have to be a heavy weight. Make it a lightweight. I'm going to continue doing my weight training while I'm waiting for any of you guys to ask me any questions. I do believe the hashtag I came in under today was Ask Questions. So hit me up, you guys. People pay for this normally. I do 50 of these, and I move the 35-pound kettlebell laterally back and forth as I'm doing it so I can hit different muscle groups. Hey, Penny, you sure got quiet real fast. Sure did. Maybe you ran away. Huh? Last thing you want to do is get in this old Marine's face. See, I get to claim the title, Grouchy Old Man. And as a personal trainer, that comes in handy. Health coach, too. Especially when folks aren't putting in the effort that they need to put in. And they tell me they want to live longer. Well, unless you put in the effort, it ain't going to happen. Everything takes effort. Your career, your love life, your business life, your personal life, living a halfway healthy life takes effort. So just sitting around and pointing fingers, that's fun for a while, but it's not going to help you live any longer. That's for sure. Come on, hit me up questions, you guys. I'm only going to be on for, maybe another 45 minutes because I got to go do my miles. Besides resistance training, weight training, that I do 3 times a week. I also do miles, power walking, 6 times a week. About 4 miles a day, 24, 25 miles a week. That allows me to keep my resting heart rate below 60. There's another one, Penny. What's your resting heart rate? Do you know? Have you ever known your resting heart rate? Have you ever even bothered to find out what your resting heart rate is? I'm just curious. Right? You find things so amusing, dear. Be curious. Huh? What's your weight? How much do you weigh? Share it. Send me a private message, if you will. If you're just sitting around all day long, stuffing your face with any calories you want, who knows? Maybe you'll be looking like me before too long. Picture again, scary picture, 252 pounds worth. Now at that time, Penny, my BMI was between 38 and 39, which isn't just obese, that's extremely obese, close to mortally obese at that point. So, very big. Look on my wall. The same picture is on there, my discussion wall. Same picture is on there. Now my BMI is about between 21 and 22, where it's supposed to be, the healthy range. Any of you know if your BMI is somewhere between 18.5 and 25? I'm curious. Anybody? Hit me up. Talk to me. Categories under hashtag ask questions, so ask some questions. Right? Any question. It doesn't have to be on personal training or health coaching. You can ask any questions that you like, and I will answer them. That's what I'm here for. In the meantime, if it's going to be completely quiet, I'll play a little background music and continue doing my weights. But I'm watching. Hit me up with a question. Come on, Penny, hit me up with a question. Let me help you out. Let me add some value to your day. How's that? Let me make the time that you spend looking at the grouchy old Marine worth it. Because if you're going to spend time looking at me and commenting, hey, let me make it worthwhile. Who's joined? Somebody join in. Oh, just a YouNow person. Not just a YouNow person, but someone without title. Yeah. Never know. Anyhow, you guys, what am I up to? Who can tell me? I know somebody on here has watched me do my weight routine before. I finished doing the behind the backs. The next ones. You want to really have well-developed forearms? Here. I mean, you really want to have well-developed forearms, and everybody should. This is awesome to really pull out the definition, because what I'm going to do here is involving the kettlebell, and I'm going to be very much working the metacarpal that's running here, as well as the ulnar, because those are both the ones that are affected, when you get pinched or tennis elbow. But this exercise, and I don't recommend starting with a heavy weight. Get a small kettlebell, 5-10 pound kettlebell. And they get them in smaller. I started with about a 15-pound kettlebell. Oh, geez, about 9 years ago, I started doing the resistance training. Added it on to the walking that I've been doing for almost 13 years, the power walking. But you really want to build up your forearms. Now, I'm using a 35-pound kettlebell here. And this was the newest addition to the family. Let's see, when was it? October, November. I added this, and it was simply because I had gotten to the point where my 30-pound kettlebell was no longer doing what I needed to do as far as overloading. The entire point of resistance training, of weight training, is to overload the muscles, because you're literally tearing down the muscle fiber and rebuilding. That is the entire process of why it's called muscle building. Resistance training, you're literally overloading the muscle, making it do more than what it's used to. And you can do that increasing weights, you can do that increasing repetitions, or a combination of both. And for me, it was a matter of time to up my game from a 30-pound kettlebell to a 35-pound kettlebell. And this will stay with me for a couple years till I'm ready to bump it up again. But this one, and this is an interesting exercise to really build up the forearms. I mean, it works everything, your biceps, triceps, your shoulders, everything. But it really does a concentration on the forearms. And it's a jerk. Watch this. Up. And then I've got it almost facing the floor as far as the kettlebell part. From here, I'll take it from hip to hip. And you'll notice I am controlling it with my thumb on the top. And if I let it go perpendicular to the floor, it's putting more effort on the forearms. I do 25 of these. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. The last 5 will really kick your butt. 22, 23, 24, 25. Ooh. Yeah, you can really feel that one once you get that one done. And a reminder, stretching after you do each routine is highly recommended. Dynamic stretching is a little bit better for you, simply because you're keeping the articulation centers, the shoulder, the elbow, the wrist, moving. You're already warming up the muscles with the resistance training. So this is simply allowing you, one, to articulate the bone intersection with the tendons and ligaments. And that also allows you to remove some of the excess gases that build up in the muscles as you're doing training. Did you guys see me freeze up, or did everything keep moving? On this end, it looked like it locked up over here. Having issues with this YouNow network lately, just dropping off. I think too many folks are logging in and their servers aren't handling the bandwidth. Could be. Any questions, you guys? You let me off real easy today. Come on, hit me up. Anything. Doesn't have to be on personal training or health coaching. You can ask me a question on any topic you like. Look up Pushing Double Nickels on Amazon, the book Pushing Double Nickels. And look at the first 30, 40 pages. Everybody can look at it for free. Table of contents, pick a subject, any subject. About how you'll never, ever, ever, ever be in one place or in the same place ever again your entire life. Ever. It's impossible, literally, for you to be in the same location ever, twice, ever, 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 ever. Never. You'll never be in the same location ever. Hey, YouNow person, glad you can make it. Anyhow, what am I up to? My Schwarzeneggers. That's what I call them. These are just 20-pound dumbbells. They're not my 25ers. These are just 20s. So it's a total of 40 pounds of weight, which for me, being about 140 pounds, a little less, it's a good amount. But still, I do 50 with these. And I've got the rather unusual range of motion that I go through with these because I want to articulate not just my shoulder group, but I'm also shooting for the inner and outer obliques on this one, and you'll see what I mean. Now, the Schwarzenegger simply is a curl that you turn at the top and come back down, and it doesn't stop. They credit Arnold with having created this one. I really don't know, but it works for me. So, 9, 10, and 10 of these. Just regular curls. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I hope you guys are at least standing up. If there's one thing that we have an issue with in this country, globally as well, 29, sedentarianism. Come on, say it with me. 27, 29, 30. By turning my body, but not my feet, I'm hitting different muscle groups in my core with these. 33, 34. I'm literally bringing the weights instead of at my side back and forth across the front and back of my body. allows me to hit different muscle groups. And then the last 10 hammers. Now I really wish that I could take what I'm doing and send it through the screen to you guys and have you feel the effect as well. Simply because the human body behaves much better, not just physically, but mentally, internally, the organs, the heart, the cardiopulmonary, your liver, your pancreas, everything functions better when you're at a proper BMI, body mass index. Everything functions better. Your heart, your breathing, your liver, especially these days. Right now we have got a very high incidence of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease happening. Hey Manny, how's it going? Anyhow, so if you guys have any questions, like I say, it doesn't have to be on personal training or health coaching. My specialties, as an ACE certified personal trainer with my background, I help people lose weight. I help people quit smoking. I help people deal with chronic back pain. People who have full-blown diabetes are on the pre-diabetes list. I help them either manage their diabetes or get them off the freaking list before they get hit with it full time. And finally, overall human health isn't just physical. Being a balanced and healthy human being is physical, of course. You're not going to go anywhere unless your car, your vehicle is in proper, running order. But as the driver, the person who's driving the car, you have to be healthy too. So your mental health, your emotional health, your intellectual health, your spiritual health, all of those are important to a health coach. I cover the entire gamut. A health coach, if you're not familiar, is like a personal trainer times 10. In fact, personal trainer is prerequisite to become a health coach. So as an ACE certified personal trainer, sure, I can help you get in shape. I can help you build muscle. I don't care how old you are. You can be 100 years old. If your eyes still open up in the morning, I can make you better. But as a personal trainer, my scope of practice is limited, right? As a health coach, my scope of practice covers everything that I am good at. And remember, I was the obese guy. I was 115 pounds heavier than I am now and a 31-year cigarette smoker. I didn't do myself any favors. So hit me up. You guys have any questions? I don't care what it's related to, anything related to your health. Physical, mental, intellectual, spiritual, emotional, it all counts, literally. If you find that you're overeating and it's based on emotions, and that is probably the most common one right now, that can be addressed. Those issues can be addressed. If it's just a matter of you're not watching your calories, fine. That's a simple numbers game. But the bottom line is, if your body mass index, if your BMI is not where it needs to be, in other words, your doctor, and you better be getting an annual physical. I don't care if you're 5 or 105. Your primary care physician, your doctor, should be one of the most important people in your life, literally. But if your BMI is not where it needs to be and not in a healthy range, obviously you need to do something about it. I can sit here and rant and rave about it all day long. Now, I can say, bad human for not doing anything, but that's not going to make you do something. So, curious, anybody know right now what their BMI is? I'd be curious who does and who doesn't. Hey, Trevor, how's it going? Whew. Anyhow, happy Thursday, you guys. What have I got left? I've been doing my weight training for the last hour. For those who've been joined, I'm trying to get it finished so I can go do my miles. Alexa, what's the temperature?
In Sun City, it's 57 degrees Fahrenheit with clear skies and sun. Today's forecast calls for more of the same, with a high of 82 degrees and a low of 50 degrees.
30, 40 degree temperature swings. I guess I shouldn't be complaining here in Southern California, because I got cousins all over the East Coast that have been getting nailed, literally nailed. Okay. 4 nor'easters this month. I think my eldest daughter in Virginia did 4 nor'easters this month. That's crazy. For any of you East Coast folks, you can ignore me when I whine about the weather out here. I haven't had to deal with snow in a very long time, but I remember it well. I've shoveled a lot of snow and I've scraped a lot of ice. Lived in the German Alps for 4 years, and I'm an East Coast transplant, so I remember. I was born upstate New York and lived all over the East Coast, Massachusetts, Virginia. I lived in Kansas, Arizona. I've been all over California, all over the country, all over the world. Stationed in Japan as a Marine. So, and went on float with the Navy all over the place in the South Pacific, and on top of that. To my Aussie friends, if there's any of my Aussie friends on today, hey, good to see you. What's up? All right, what am I doing? I got my 25 more 25s. These are my 25-pound dumbbells, I guess. Yeah. And I just do 25 with them, easy to remember. And then the chest puller. 2, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. Total of 50 pounds, which is a little bit more than 1/3 of my body weight. And that does put good resistance on everything. Upper body, core. That even pulls on my quadriceps and my hammies. And you bet that'll work your glutes as well. You'll be amazed what a little free weight training can do. Always important to maintain your breathing as you're doing. Usually you want to exhale on the exertion and inhale on the release. Standard. Another thing that weight training can do, it'll kick up your metabolism even more on top of the cardio. You must do your cardio. Simple numbers. If you're already in shape, in other words, if your body mass index is where it needs to be and your doctor's happy with all of your numbers, in other words, if you're in fairly healthy shape, the minimum guidelines for exercise, 30 minutes, 5 times a week, 150 minutes. That's if you're already in shape, okay? If you need to lose weight, you need to get in shape, you need to get your numbers where they need to be, you double that. Or if you're over 50. So that's 60 minutes, 5 times a week, 300 minutes of some form of exercise. Now, I know darn well most of you are not even thinking about doing structured exercise, going to the gym. I know that. But one thing that you can look at doing that will help what we call lifestyle activities, lifestyle exercise. Just for instance, some of the things that will burn off calories that you don't have to go to the gym for. Washing your car. doing some gardening, literally getting out there and digging in the dirt, walking your dog, the brisker the better, going to the mall, go shopping. Anything, as far as I'm concerned, that gets you off your butt and moving is good for you. The problem we're having right now, and this is not just an American issue, although we lead the way here in the United States, hoorah. For this one, we should not be leading the way, believe me. We lead the world in the obesity epidemic happening right now, and it is a global crisis. 7 billion people on this planet right now. 20% of the population is overweight or obese. 1 out of 5. And that's a pretty hefty number, right? 1 out of 5 people on the planet is heavy, needs to lose weight, 20%. But, and this is the scary number, you guys, and one of the reasons I'm spending time giving you this information and giving advice for free on YouNow, it was my New Year's resolution to spend as much time as I could, as a personal trainer and health coach, helping you guys as much as possible. The United States is leading the obesity epidemic, the global epidemic. We are number 1. To the point right now where 2 out of 3 Americans are either fat or very fat, overweight or obese. I'm not going to mince words here, guys. It's at the point now, and everybody's continuing to ignore it, but it's at the point now where it's taking 1,500 to 1,600 lives per day. 1,500 to 1,600 people a day are dying because they are where I was, overweight, or before that, obese. And remember, this was me at 252 pounds. More importantly, my BMI was 38, almost 39. That was my body mass index when I was obese, okay? And that is almost to the point of mortally obese. In other words, I could have dropped dead from a heart attack at any time back then. And I was also smoking cigarettes, 31 years. From when I was 15 years old, I became a full pack-a-day smoker until I was 46 years old and finally quit. That was July 15, 2005. And yes, I remember the day I quit. I can remember it specifically. I can play it back in my head. I have that ability otherwise. But you bet I remember the day I quit smoking. You do something for 31 years and just cut it off cold turkey. Right? I did use the gum, the nicotine replacement gum. But yeah, you stop doing something that is that inbred, that ingrained in you. The only other thing that was more ingrained in me is eating. Literally, I am a foodaholic. And 2/3 of America right now are foodaholics. 2/3, 66% of this country. 324 million Americans, give or take. Right? Out of 324 million Americans, 2/3, that's over 200 million, are either overweight or obese. 2/3 of the United States, 66 freaking percent. It's 20% globally. 1 out of 5 globally. 2 out of 3 in the United States. We lead the way. We are stuffing ourselves to death. Literally to death. I have to watch that show, My 600-Pound Life. I have no choice. I'm a weight loss specialist. That's what I do. I have to see and understand how somebody gets to 600, 700, 800 pounds. I mean, I have to really look deeply at what it was that got them to that point. So I understand. Better for my folks who are just 250, 300, 350. I think the heaviest person I've worked with was around 450. But to get to that point, one, most of the time they don't do it on their own. They have an enabler or enablers. People who bring them their food. And just like Dr. Now says on My 600-Pound Life, right? They say, well, we know it makes her feel better. We makes him feel better. We know that food makes them happy. Well, and he points out, alcohol does the same thing. Alcoholics say the same thing. So you're just going to give them more alcohol to make them happy? It's killing them. The food, too much food, is killing us. Literally. I mean, we lose 160,000 people a day anyway. Attrition, those are the numbers. 160,000 people a day die. A certain number of people are born. You know, sometimes it's more born than less, but bottom line is, every day we're losing 160,000 people. Old age, accidents, whatever. The whole schlemiel. But we know for a fact that 1%, about 15 to 1,600, are dying just because they ate themselves to death. Just that reason, just because they have too much fat. Now, we know that of the 160,000 that die every day, most of them are still dying from the leading cause of death in America, coronary arterial disease, CAD. Now, that's what causes the arterial sclerosis in your heart, you know, the plaque buildup in the walls, right, and in the brain, and attaches the visceral fat, not the subcutaneous fat, but the visceral fat, the really dangerous stuff that attaches to your internal organs. This is what's killing us, literally. We are supersizing ourselves to death. It's happening right now. If your BMI, if your body mass index is in the healthy range, look left, look right. On your left is a fat person, on your right is a very fat person. I was in both of those categories. I know. And 45 million Americans still smoke cigarettes. It's gone up. It was at 17%. It's gone up to 19%. I don't know. Maybe it's because Trump took office. Just kidding. Sorry, I don't like the orange clown. Somebody that doesn't have proper morals, ethics, scruples, you know, bottom line is, I was a Marine at a very early age. I went through boot camp at a very early age. 17 years and 3 months, I had my father sign me in. And there's one thing, besides the training they gave us that physically turned us into Marines, they gave us the mental training as well. And I'm proud to say that 99.9% of all Marines are awesome people. Yeah, we have our 0.1%. Everybody has the 0.1%. But all in all, my drill instructors pounded into my head respect for other people. Doesn't matter the gender, doesn't matter the sex, doesn't matter the race, the color, the religion. Irrelevant, right? For me as a Marine, I had to count on whoever was next to me having my back. And I didn't care their color, their race, their creed, their sex. There's some outstanding women Marines out there, lambs, right? Bottom line is, if you do not have the ability to be respectful to people, then you should not be in a leadership position, period. And I don't care if that's in business or in government, right? I've only been business. I did business 30 plus years. You look me up on LinkedIn. You go look at some of the folks that write letters and things for me. Leadership is my strongest quality, always has been, right? That's why when they hit me with permanent disability because of my back and took me out of information technology training, right? I didn't just say, all right, I'll retire at an early age. No. I wrote a book. I became a certified personal trainer, a certified personal health coach, right? And that's what I do. That's just within the last 4 years, right? I'll be 59 next month. So I'm here to tell you, if you're not in shape, I don't care how old you are, you can start getting in shape. And the sooner you do it, the better. Don't wait till, like me, at 46, you get hit with type 2 diabetes, right? And you're fat, and hopefully you weren't smoking cigarettes like I was. But even if you are, even if you're starting on the health path way down at the bottom, I don't care. You can still get to where I am. My BMI is 21-22. My body fat is about 6%, right? My weight for my height is just where it needs to be. And I did it slowly over time. I didn't do surgery. I didn't do diets. I didn't do fads. I didn't do lap bands. Between 2005 and 2013, I slowly, naturally took off 115 pounds. And it'll stay that way. Now, I'm never going back. And you can do it too. I don't care if you're 15 pounds, 50 pounds, or 150 pounds overweight. You can take it off. You can do it. It's just a matter of getting that first step, taking the first step, being motivated enough to care enough about your health to want to do it, and not waiting until you get what we call a perceived health threat, like me. That's what prompted my change, the diabetes. Don't wait till you get hit with a health threat that'll threaten your life to make the changes. You can look in the mirror right now, right? Or like I said, go find your body mass index number. Go find your BMI number. Go Google it right now. BMI number, body mass index number. I have someone who's wanting to take over the morning. This is Zachary. Zachary is a 13-pound chug. That's a Chihuahua and a pug. And about, was it 2010? He almost drowned in a pool. And I got him out just in time, but ever since then, he's had a congestive cough in the morning. Oh, he's been treated for it multiple times over the years. They've treated him for kennel cough on it. Yeah, I know. I'm cleaning out your eyeballs. He doesn't like it. If you have pets, do them a favor. Clean out their eyeballs. They don't have thumbs. They can't do it like we can. Huh. You're welcome, Grouch. And this is Zeke. You want to go potty? He wants to go out. All right, come on. You want to go outside? All right, come on. Down the stairs and out the door. Go. Get him, buddy. Hurry back here. All right. Yes, this is Zeke. Zeke is a Chiggy. That's a Chihuahua and a Welsh Corgi. And Zeke's going to be 4. We're guesstimating he'll be 4 this summer. And of course, then there's my princess. This is Zoe. Here, give you a better look up close. Give you a better look at Zoe. Here's Zoe. I'm writing a dog book, by the way. Besides the book I wrote for humans in 2014, published in 2014, right now I'm writing a dog book. I'm trying to get it published by the end of the year. Before then, and what I'm doing right this very moment, trying to rush to get it done, is my food, activity, and diary. Food, diary, and activity log. This I'm going to just start giving away to everybody free. That way, if you want to do something about starting to track your calories and then get some pounds off, this will be the best way to do it, at least to get started. Anyhow, Zoe is a Chiweenie, which is a Chihuahua and a Dachshund. And she's about 12 years old. She's been with me since 2007. She was about a year old when I got her. All of my dogs are rescues. All of my animals are rescues. I have an 18-year-old tabby cat as well. Yes, 18 years old. And crazier than a poodle owl. Yep, all right, eyeballs are cleaned out. Okay, now, I think I was ranting at you guys about the issues that we're dealing with here in America right now, and I guarantee you some of you are probably dealing with these. So, if you have any questions, hit me up. I'm going to finish up my day right now, my resistance training, with a old school piece of equipment. Some of you may know what this is, some of you may not. Anybody want to guess? Huh? Anybody want to guess what this is? Come on. Somebody. Let me see if my Chihuahua, see if Zachary's ready to come back in yet. Here he is. You done? All right, come on then. Hurry up. Let's go. Boogie, boogie. Come on, I gotta finish up. I gotta go do my miles now, sir. Yeah, I gotta go do my miles now, sir. Here. Say hi, everybody. How's it going out there? Say hi, everybody. How's it going out there? 13 years old, but you wouldn't know it. Acts like a puppy half the time. Huh. On the toughest of the bunch. Toughest of the bunch, seriously. For those of you who aren't familiar with this is called a chest puller. It's 3 metal springs with wooden handles on the end. Simply do exactly what it says. Chest. Open up the chest. Of course, this really works the shoulders as well. And you don't want to snap this closed. So you want to be very slow on that. Bad rat boy. BRB. I'll call you BRB. How you doing there, bad rat boy? I'm just showing everybody the old-fashioned chest puller. This is old school equipment. You can do the same thing with bands, and that's what they use now, are these bands. And the bands are awesome, absolutely awesome. For me, this is like a gym in a box. And so when I go on vacation someplace, I can't bring my 35-pound kettlebell. I can't bring my dumbbells with me. And I'm not necessarily always staying somewhere that, is in a gym. If I'm at a friend's house or staying somewhere else, there's not always a guarantee that I'm going to have resistance training available for me. So I pack this in my luggage and take it with me. And yeah, it gets looked at, but once they open up and see what it is, they're like, oh, okay. Anyhow, I'm going to be finishing off my resistance training and heading out to do my miles. Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 9:48 a.m.
Yep. So 12 more minutes, you guys, I'll be on here, and then I'm going to be closing out for the day and go doing my mileage. One thing that's for absolutely certain, all right, I may get on here and talk to you guys and rant or rave and lecture to you guys about being healthy, right? About being in shape, about being the proper body mass index, the BMI proper number. But if I wasn't doing it myself, right? If I wasn't walking the walk to go with it, and remember, I'm going to be 59 in 3 weeks, right? If I wasn't walking the walk and doing what is required for me to stay in the proper shape, to talk to you about being in the proper shape, then you wouldn't have to listen to me. You would not have to pay attention to me. And I'm not saying that you still have to pay attention to me. But as far as I'm concerned, I have to be the person to set the example. I was the one who was obese. I was the one who smoked cigarettes for 31 years. I'm the one who let myself get so out of shape that I got hit with full-blown type 2 diabetes. Okay, I'm a type 2 diabetic. 30 million Americans are right now. Out of 324 million Americans, 30 million of us are already diagnosed. But that's not the scary number. The scary number is 84 million Americans right now are pre-diabetic. Pre-diabetic means that you're right on the line. And you literally have a choice to make as a pre-diabetic. Once you know, and you better find out, if you don't know what your A1C number is, and that's the 60-day glucose tolerance level, get it done in a lab, right? Just get the blood taken, find out from your doctor. If you don't know what that number is, you need to find out. The two numbers to me that tell me how long you're going to live, that give me a good indication beyond blood pressure, cholesterol, etc. Your body mass index, your BMI number, that tells me as a personal trainer and health coach how long you're going to live. That gives me a good indication of how healthy you are. Your A1C number, how well your body is processing the sugars that you put into it. How well your pancreas is pumping out the insulin necessary to keep your blood clean from all the stuff you're putting into it. Those are the two numbers that I am most concerned about. Your body mass index number and your A1C number. And you should be on top of those numbers. You, personally. And I don't care if you're 10 years old or 100 years old. You need to be in charge of your health. Nobody can do it for you. Nobody can say, hey, stop eating those Oreos. Or, hey, why don't you eat something healthy for a change and constantly stuffing your face full of junk food? I did it, I know. Every day, every single day, I'd go out, I'd get junk food, I'd take it back, I'd eat it, I wasn't exercising. How do you think I got up to 252 pounds, you guys? Seriously. And it happened overnight. Hey, Prince, how's it going? Gaining weight and getting heavy isn't something that happens fast, right? It happens slowly over time. And there are no symptoms to gaining weight. You don't get a sore throat or a runny nose or a fever or anything like that. You will start suffering the effects: ankle pain, knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When you're carrying too much weight, you're putting all that extra weight on those joints. And yeah, they'll begin to hurt. You're going to put extra pressure on your internal organs. Your heart can enlarge. Your liver can get covered in visceral fat. And non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD, is at epidemic instances right now. Liver transplants are at higher numbers than ever. And for 2 years in a row, well, first, 3 years ago, something happened that has never, ever, ever happened before since we've been tracking it. And we're talking decades. We've been tracking how long we live. Yeah, the average lifespan. We've been tracking it for decades. When they first started tracking it, 60s, we were living into our 60s. And then we moved up into living into our 70s. And up until 3 years ago, it had been kept getting longer and longer. We were living longer and longer. Up until 3 years ago. We were up in the 80s. But guess what, guys? 3 years ago, something happened that never happened before. Lifespans shortened. That's right. Go Google it. Lifespans have decreased. And then it happened for a second year in a row. We were flabbergasted it happened at all. But then it happened 2 years in a row. And you know what? I'm just going to put this down. And this is what really bothers the heck out of me. We're in denial about this. We are in absolute freaking denial about this. Love her, but Yamiche Alcindor, you've seen her on CNN, you'll see her on MSNBC, right? She's also friends with Ariva Martin, friend of mine. She was on, I think it was Wolf Blitzer's show last month, and they were talking about this. This issue came up, how lifespans have decreased for 2 years in a row. And he asked her why she thought they had decreased. And you know what her answer was? Because of the opioid epidemic. That's what she blamed it on. The opioid epidemic, right? Now, we have a big problem right now with the opioid epidemic. It's coast to coast. It's everywhere. And we're losing 175 people a day, thereabouts. The numbers have gone down just a little bit, but it's still horrible. I have friends caught up in it. I know. But that's 175 people a day. You guys remember how many people a day I told you are dying because they're too fat? Just because they're too fat? 1,500 to 1,600 people every single day are dropping dead because they eat themselves to death. Food. Okay, it doesn't have toxic warning labels, right, on the packages. Maybe it should. I'm not kidding. Especially the packaged goods. If you could avoid the middle of the store entirely and stick to everything that's in the fresh sections, you'd be much better off. If you go pull out anything in your cabinets, anything, cookies, cakes, anything, you go look for palm oil, palm kernel oil. Go look at your margarine. Go look at anything. If you have anything with palm oil or palm kernel oil, 84% saturated fat, you guys. 84% saturated fat, the unhealthiest. The only way it could be worse, and I've seen it, if it becomes partially hydrogenated. That simply means they're taking a very unhealthy fat, right, and making it more unhealthy, just so it'll be stable at room temperatures. May as well just put on that container, comes with a heart attack. Because right now, we're losing 1,500 to 1,600 people every single day, are dropping dead, because they're eating themselves to death. And I'm a foodaholic. I understand that. I will always be a foodaholic. That's how I got up to 252 pounds, a BMI of 38, 39. I understand. Yes, we all have comfort food, and many of us eat for other reasons than hunger. And that seems to be a big issue right now, a very big issue. Anyhow, you guys, I've spent enough time on here with you guys today ranting and raving about health issues, and nobody's hitting me up with any good questions right now, or comments, theories, postulations, ideas, suggestions. I'm open to pretty much anything, you guys. But the bottom line is, if you don't know what your body mass index number is, please go find out right now. Right? You can look it up in 10 seconds. 10 seconds, and you'll know what your BMI is. And once you look it up on the chart, and you look down into where the healthy range is, you can determine how many pounds you need to lose to get there. The numbers are pretty simple, literally. I mean, they are literally very simple. Gaining weight, losing weight, it's a numbers game, right? And I don't care if you're eating junk food or health food, right? If you're eating too much food, you're still going to be gaining weight. Just it's easier to gain weight with junk food because it's high fat, high cholesterol. It's easier to get fat with junk food. But I don't care if you eat a truckload of spinach. If you're eating too much health food, you're still going to gain weight. Bottom line. Being healthy is 75% your nutrition and 25% your activity levels. That's the formula for being a healthy individual. 75% of your time has to be devoted to watching what's going into your body. 25% of your time has to be devoted to your activity levels, exercise. And again, I'm not talking necessarily about doing formal structured exercise, going to the gym. I don't care if you get out and do power walking, if you like I do, that's what I do. I don't care if you walk your dog, if you do bicycling, roller skating, washing cars, doing yard work, anything that gets you off your butt and gets your heart pumping. What I'm looking for is something that's medium intensity exercise, something that on the perceived exertion that you still be able to talk. You can still talk, right? Let's say you're walking very quickly. You're still able to talk, but not enough to sing, okay? I'm looking at the rate of, 5 or 6 on the 1 to 10 scale of perceived rate of exertion. So something that gets your heart rate going to the point where 30 minutes 5 times a week if you're already healthy, 60 minutes 5 times a week if you need to lose weight or if you're over 50. Pretty simple numbers. Right? And any personal trainer, any health coach is going to tell you the exact same thing if they're worth half their salt. Right? I highly recommend, if you do look to hire someone, right, even if it's not me, doesn't matter, look for somebody who's ACE certified. American Council on Exercise, right? ACE certified individuals, and we are the only personal trainers that are HIPAA regulated. That means that anything that goes on between me and my clients stays between me and my clients. Everything is kept confidential, even if I'm working with their doctors. Anything their doctors send me, any records, any files, anything regarding that patient is strictly confidential, kept under lock and key. And I do not talk to anybody, family members, it doesn't matter. I don't talk to anybody unless my client says, please, here's permission, and I get them to sign off on it, right? Bottom line is we're fully HIPAA regulated, fully, right? And that's extremely important. Besides the code of ethics, we've got a very strict code of ethics under ACE. Right? For one thing, we will not promote any product, any organization. You won't find me pushing any of the diet plans, diet vans, products, anything, ever, ever. I will not promote any product or organization, ever. The only thing that you're ever going to hear from me is I'm promoting good health. I'm promoting better health for you. Right? I did it, and I know if I could do it starting at 46, at obese and still smoking cigarettes, and I started at 46 to get my health under control. If you're younger than me, and I guarantee you 99.9% of you on here are, right? I got 4 kids myself, right? 20 to 28. Well, he'll be 28 in May. But I want them all to live to 100. I want all you guys to live to 100 plus without wearing diapers and drooling on yourselves. Happy, healthy. But unless we get control of the current obesity issue, and we have an obesity crisis happening in America right now, and hand in hand with that obesity crisis is the diabetes epidemic, the pre-diabetes epidemic. Between the pre-diabetics, 84 million, and those of us who are already diagnosed, including me, as type 2 diabetic, that's 114 million Americans out of 324 million. That means more than 1 out of 3 Americans either has diabetes or is right on the line for getting it. If you're on the line for getting it, and this is what I'm going to leave you with today, you've got a choice to make right now. Literally, you have a choice to make because you still have the ability to make the choice. If you're pre-diabetic, that doesn't mean that you are fated to becoming a diabetic. That simply means that you have a warning. You've been warned. You have pre-diabetes. Your A1C number is now at the point where if you don't do something to make some changes, then you will become a full-blown type 2 diabetic. And like me, I had to spend a whole year sticking a needle in my stomach to get my blood sugars, my A1C under control. And now, and for the rest of my life, I'm taking oral medication, 2 different kinds, to keep my A1C as low as possible. I let my pancreas get half dead. Only 50% of my pancreas is working. I got to very obese, 252 pounds, very obese, and I was smoking cigarettes, and I was completely sedentary, no exercise at all. I did not worry. I was a fat, happy dad and working in computer training. That's it. So you can make those changes. If you're pre-diabetic, you're on the list, and you're right on the line. You need to take control. Losing as little, I should say, as 10% of your current body weight could get you off that list. But you don't do anything. You may as well just start looking at the fingers and the toes you don't like. Seriously. Because if you don't do anything and you're pre-diabetic, you're going to become full-blown diabetic if you don't do anything. And once you become full-blown diabetic, if you still don't do anything, then neuropathy will set in. That means the nerves are going to die. The flesh is going to die. Eventually, they're going to be cutting off fingers and toes. You're going to go blind. Your pancreas will die, and you will die. Diabetes is killing people every single day. So, like I say, you have a choice to make right now if you're pre-diabetic. Who's joined us? Hey, Croc, how you doing? What's going on, Credo? YouNow people? Well, there's sexy Blue Croc. You just logged in as I'm just getting ready to head out of here. I got to go do my miles. But I will be back on here tomorrow to lecture you guys some more. And make sure that if you have any questions regarding health issues, I can answer them. That's the nice thing about not just being a personal trainer, but being a health coach. The personal trainer, that's a limited scope of practice. And mind you, there's nothing wrong with being a personal trainer. But as a health coach, and personal trainer was prerequisite for me to become a health coach, but as a health coach, that is a much wider scope of practice for me, right? Like I say, my specialty is helping people lose weight, helping people build muscle, doesn't matter how old you are, helping people get their diabetes under control or get off the pre-diabetes list. People that have lower back pain, 100 million of us, 1 out of 3 Americans suffer some form of chronic back pain. And of course, diabetics, right? The 30 million of us who are already diagnosed, we have to work extra hard, right, to keep our A1C down, even on medication. And none of us are perfect, right? I don't expect anybody's going to go out there right now and go buy salads and tofu and health food. I know that's not going to happen. But what I do recommend, start writing down what you're eating, especially the portion sizes, right? If you get a 1 full week log, in fact, if you message me, I'll send you my food log. right? Fill it out for a week along with the activity section, right? And we'll figure out where all the calories are coming from, and if you're putting on weight, how fast. Are you putting on a pound a week, a pound every other week, a pound a month? I mean, a pound a month is still 12 pounds a year. Over a decade, that's 120 pounds. How do you think I got up to 252 pounds? It happens slowly over time. So getting healthy and getting back into shape, the same thing. It'll happen slowly and over time. People looking for these quick fixes, and I see it all the time on this, my 600-pound life show. They expect to go in and get surgery and everything's going to be fixed. What they don't understand is, first, it's got to be fixed here. First, control has to be taken. You have to take control of your health. You have to get that motivation internally to want to be healthier. And you can look in the mirror. You don't even have to go get your BMI if you can look in the mirror right now and go, yeah, I need to lose weight. 2 out of 3 Americans do. You're not alone by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, you guys are in the majority right now. 66% of America is currently overweight or obese. 2 out of 3 people. Anyhow, if you're pre-diabetic, and if you don't know if you're pre-diabetic, go get your blood sugar numbers taken. Go get the blood test done, please. Right? Like I say, the 2 numbers that tell me how long you're going to live give me a good indication as to your longevity. Your body mass index, your BMI number, and you can look that up. Go look up BMI chart, BMI calculator. Look at your height, your weight, follow it to the box. I have it right here on my wall. Right? Find out your BMI number and your A1C number. Find out what your blood sugar numbers are. That is the keys to me. How you doing there, Suque? Did I say that right? Suque? Try to pronounce the X-U-Q-E-H. Suque? Suque. Anyway, gave it a shot. Bottom line though, guys, find out what your prediabetes, if you're on the prediabetes list. 84 million Americans right now are on that list. If you're on that list, you can get off that list. That is not a death sentence. It simply means that you've got to take control. Okay? You simply need to start doing what's necessary to get your blood sugars managed. Most of it is going to be losing weight. I guarantee you. Most of it will be losing weight. Watching your diet and watching your nutrition are going to be extremely important as a part of that. But that should be an important part of living, period. And slowly, over time, you'll find ways to replace the double cheeseburgers with something a little healthier. To get rid of, maybe instead of instead of eating the whole bucket of chicken, you just eat a couple of pieces. As you lose weight and as you get smaller, and my waist is now a 31, 32, it used to be a 44, 46, but your stomach will also shrink and you won't be able to eat as much as you used to. And my eyes are always bigger than my belly these days. But that's fine, because then that means that you simply save what you haven't eaten. I may make a 1 pound steak, but I may eat it in 3 sittings. You with me on this? Right? I may like to still get pizza, and I do. I love pizza. But instead of eating half the pie or the whole pie, I now have 2 slices, 3 tops. The bottom line, I know that at the end of the day, the end of the week, the end of the month, and the end of the year, whether or not I gain weight is going to come down to whether I consumed more calories than I burned, or whether I burned more calories than I consumed. What we call in the industry a positive energy balance or a negative energy balance. A positive energy balance simply means that you're eating more food than you're burning off. And for every 3,500 calories that you don't burn off, that turns into 1 pound of fat. So if you're eating an additional 3,500 calories a week, that means that every week you're putting on an extra pound of fat. I'm finding right now that most of my folks that are doing the food diary, they're putting on a pound every other week to every 3 weeks, on average. So a pound every other week is still 26 pounds in a year, right? A pound every 3 weeks, you're still talking about 17 pounds in a year, thereabouts, right? Some folks are just putting on a pound a month, right? But those are the averages, anywhere from a pound every other week to a pound a month. That's what I'm running into. So you can figure it out fairly easily. I mean, you don't need my help as far as knowing whether or not you're healthy. I would hope to God that every one of you has an annual physical, which includes your blood work and your labs with your doctor. And all the numbers that you talked about with your doctor are the ones that I care about as well. Your BMI, your blood pressure, your cholesterol, your A1C. And for me, as a personal trainer and health coach, I'd be curious if you know what your resting heart rate is. And that tells me how healthy your heart is. My 30-day resting heart rate right now is 58. Average resting heart rate is anywhere between 60 and 100 beats a minute. Average. It all depends on the individual. But the lower your resting heart rate normally, the more healthy your heart. So there it is, guys. We have an epidemic, an obesity epidemic. We have a pre-diabetes epidemic, both happening right now. And while the opioid crisis is horrible, and it's claiming 175 people a day, 1,600 people a day are dropping dead because they eat too much. 1,600 people every single day. Every single day. Today, 1,600 people will die because they ate themselves to death. Tomorrow, 1,600 people will die because they ate themselves to death. Tonight, thousands will die in their sleep from heart attacks. Many of it related to obesity issues. High cholesterol, high blood pressure. When you're dreaming, your heart's acting just like you're awake. So if you're dreaming and you're being chased by a monster and your heart rate never goes over 100 beats a minute, normally during the day when you're awake, what do you think the odds are of you having a heart attack in the middle of your sleep when your heart suddenly spikes up to 140, 150 beats a minute out of nowhere? Because you're being chased by a monster. Maybe you watched a scary movie, or it may be a good dream. Bottom line, though, if your heart's deconditioned and you're out of shape, you're overweight, high blood pressure, high cholesterol go hand in hand with that. Sound asleep. 90,000 people are dying every single night. A majority of them from heart attacks. That's above and beyond the 1,500 that we know, 1,600 that we know are dying just because they ate too much. You know, they're too fat, flat out. We know that obesity killed them. On top of that, we lose 90,000 every night. So the numbers are there, guys. You know, this isn't anything I'm making up. This is all standard stuff. You can look up any of this stuff. If any of you are in a position where you need to lose weight, and I understand, you know, not wanting to talk about it, not even wanting to face it unless you have to, but you know, you want to reach out to me, personaltrainingwithbrad.com is my website, personaltrainingwithbrad.com. If you fan me here on YouNow, you get an hour for free on top of the initial free consultation. So if you want to talk to me about getting yourself on the path to better health, I'm available. Right? If you smoke cigarettes or use vapes, I'll help you quit that for free. Literally, I'm helping everybody get rid of tobacco. You can't get your health in order. You can't even begin to get your health in order if you use tobacco. And I don't care if you're using the cigarettes or you're vaping or chew or whatever. Right? Tobacco is bad, bad, bad. So that's for free, you guys. Hey, Queen. Hey, Christian. Glad you guys can make it. I'm just signing out, though. I got to go do my miles before it gets way too hot. And it's getting ready to get very toasty out here today. So last thing I'm going to tell you, every morning you have the opportunity to make things better for yourself. Just remember, when you go to sleep tonight, here, let me get up close. You guys can say bye to the gang. Bye, gang. That's what you call a Chihuahua trifecta. The Chihuahua trifecta. These are all my rescued babies. Here, these guys. Zachary, the little white monster, is 13. Zoe, the Chiweenie, yes, is 12. And Zeke, my chiggy, is about 4. Anyhow, you guys, I just wanted to let you know. Every night, 90,000 people go to sleep and don't wake up the next morning. Every single night. It'll happen tonight. 90,000 people are going to go climb into their covers. They're going to go get all comfy under their blankets and put their head on their pillows. And when the morning comes around, their eyes won't be opening. 90,000 people every single night. A majority of them are dying from heart attacks. That's just the way it is. Heart attacks and strokes. Still, the leading cause of death in the United States, coronary arterial disease, CAD. So if you're one of those folks that wakes up in the morning, and there's 324 million of us, so I still expect 99.9999% to do that, including every one of you. But as long as your eyes open up in the morning, I want you to remember that 90,000 people didn't. 90,000 people did not wake up. And it's going to happen tomorrow morning, and the morning after that, and the morning after that, ad infinitum. But as long as you're one of the ones that still keeps waking up, from that point on, everything is gravy. Your glass should be half full. You should be happy just at the fact that your eyes opened up and you're still alive. And there's many of us out there, including me. I've been physically dead twice in my life. So as far as I'm concerned, every day is a bonus anyway, right? Especially since the fact that I know darn well that I probably dodged a bullet, right? The being hit with type 2 diabetes myself at age 46, that's probably what saved me from having a heart attack before I was 50. Right? If I had kept smoking and stayed heavy, remember I was 115 pounds heavier than I am now. And my BMI was 38, 39 at that time. So I wasn't just fat, I was very fat. And smoking cigarettes. I didn't do myself any favors. But at 59 next month, I'm now in a place where most people half my age would like to be. And the nice thing about that is I know the human body is malleable. You want to make those changes, you can make them. Right? And it doesn't matter how old you are. I don't care if you're 20 or if you're 120. As long as your eyes open up, as long as you wake up in the morning, the opportunity for you to make things better for yourself are there. And it isn't going to be something that happens fast. It's slow and over time, but it's well worth it in the long run. Okay? Anyhow, I really appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to me rant and rave about health issues. I wish there were more people out there ranting and raving about this, because it literally is an obesity epidemic happening right here in the United States. I mean, yeah, 2 out of 3 of us. It's crazy. I know. I was caught up in it. Anyhow, you guys, I'm going to go do my cardio. I get very grouchy if I don't get to do my cardio. I've already got my resistance training. My weights have been done. You guys join me for that, and I appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you guys hopefully again tomorrow. If you haven't fanned me up, go ahead and do so. If you claim me as a fan on YouNow, then you can claim you have a personal trainer, at least on this platform. Anyhow, who joined me? Oh, Queen. Sorry, thought I said hi. Anyhow, you guys, love you all. I really do want to expect everybody on this platform to live to 100 plus. Right? All you millennials, all you Gen Xers, even all you Gen Zers especially. I want you guys to be living to 100 plus. Happy, healthy, without wearing diapers and without drooling on yourselves. But the only way we're going to do that, guys, is if we take control of our health. And you're the only person that can take control of your health. Nobody, I don't care who the personal trainer is, right? The best personal trainer on the planet is not going to force you to quit smoking, to force you to lose weight, to force you to start taking control of your health. That's up to you. But I can tell you, it doesn't matter how old you are, you can do it. You can, literally. You can make drastic changes, right? If you're obese now, you don't have to stay that way, right? Take it from somebody who's been there. I know, right? Like I said, I'm going to be 59 here coming up on April 20th. So I'm pushing 60, right? That makes me a lot older than probably most of you guys. And I want, just like I've got 4 kids between 20 and 28 years old, and I want all of them to live to 100 years old without drooling on themselves and wearing diapers and longer. So anyhow, I'm just getting ready to head out, you guys. I appreciate you watching. Fan me up if you haven't already, and look for me probably about the same time tomorrow. I'm going to try and pop on here for a couple hours and talk about health issues again. And remember, if you have any questions on animals, especially on dogs, I am writing a dog book. I have been a dog expert my entire life, and my specialty with dogs is understanding dog emotions. In fact, I've been doing research and studies on that for the last 5 years. You'd be amazed at some of the things I've been finding out. Anyway, guys, I love you guys immensely. Seriously. As far as I'm concerned, everybody on this planet is the exact same thing, human. We're all part of Team Earth. And we need to start acting like it, and quit behaving in such a horrible manner towards each other. Literally. I mean, we share 99.9% of our DNA, and let's start acting like it. We are family, all of us. Anyhow, you guys, get off your butts, get moving. If your eyes open up tomorrow morning, and I know they will, just remember, Coach Brad says that means that now it's time to get out of bed and make ourselves better. Time to get up and be healthier, right? All right, you guys. Take it easy. If you haven't fanned me up, fan me and do it now. And I look forward to seeing you guys again tomorrow. Take care in the meantime.